So, um,
Public comment time?
not quite yet.
Not quite yet.
Let's hold off all side conversations while folks are speaking, please. Sir,
Does that include you? Can you hold all your damn side conversations while I'm talking tonight, Bart? Since we're in a goddamn clown show here, how come you can't make your commissioner stay out here? You're not a strong mayor, Bart.
sir,
Mayor Littleman. Mayor Littleman. I think that's what we ought to call it from now on.
if you could make it remain to the
Sir, this is my time. My time. Stop interrupting me. Shh.
You're being disruptive, and I'm trying to run an orderly meeting. This is your warning.
I'm not being disruptive.
You are being disruptive. You are talking over me.
And it's just having a problem with my vocal words of speech.
He is being disruptive. I'm trying to run an orderly meeting while he's talking over me. If you could please remove the gentleman, I would appreciate it. And we will take a recess.
The words that they're saying.
Thank you.
Bart,
5 minutes. Well, I'm going to bring this back. A lot of commotion. I will read the opening statement here. Public is allowed to speak on items that are not scheduled for discussion on the agenda. Comments should be limited to Comments should be limited to issues and items germane to the business of the governing body. The commission will not discuss or debate these items, nor will the commission make decisions on items presented during this time. Members of the public will be limited to 3 minutes for comments.
Are we ready?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
May I suggest that you fix the sound system in this room? It's very difficult to hear in the back. Thank you. My public comment pertains to the issue of the unhoused in Lawrence. Earlier today, I sent an email for public comment, and I want to correct an error that is in there. I stated in that public comment that my belief was that the the chair of the LCS board had shared information with his board about the treatment of the friend of a sexual assault victim who was at Pallet Village. He had not done that at the general board meeting, but had done that in executive committee and had sent another email that I wrote to the executive committee. That issue will be discussed at the next board meeting on September 26th. I wanted to correct that for the benefit of the public and the benefit of the city commission. My other statement has to do with the fact that Stop the Sweep petition was sent out at the Integrated Services event and as well as online. 338 people signed that petition. I do not know if you have been presented with it, but I hope you have been. In terms of the Stop the Sweep petition, I respectfully suggest that you not close the Amtrak camp on October 15th. This is because my understanding is that a petition was filed to build 24 pallet shelters out by LCS. That will not be enough for the numbers of people. Furthermore, the numbers of expulsion at Pallet Village of people who are from Tent City and elsewhere has been quite high. Many of them are addicts. Addiction and recovery services were not provided. They were subsequently exited and are now back on the streets. Many of them are now in the Amtrak camp. I have also requested today via Cora the HMIS data, as well as agreements and policies and procedures pertaining to Pallet Village. In addition, I have requested that the city manager's budget be broken out to show exactly how much money the Division of Homeless Solutions is receiving. I believe that taxpayers need this information in order to make a data-driven decision, especially if a tax increase will be on the ballot in November. We cannot make informed decisions unless we know exactly how many successes and failures there are with respect to this program. We have gotten photo ops, glowing articles, a few successes. What about the less than successful stories of people out there? Thank you.
Hi, this is Chris Flowers, and I just have some thoughts. I want to address the empty chair over there. You dirty birds. Look, this is your fault because her complaint was that basically rules aren't being followed. So if Commissioner Sellers is going to the back because the rules are being broken, isn't that on the mayor for normalizing it? And I want to point out something. Last meeting, when someone got up here and started talking about how good Christians were when the subject was about roads, that had nothing to do with the subject. And couldn't the mayor have stopped it and said, hey, this isn't germane to the business? And if so, why didn't he? That's what I want to know. Why didn't the mayor stop it? And you might say, well, he's incompetent, but that's not the case because all four of you voted for him to be mayor without any questions asked, no discussion. So that seems, I mean, that would lend itself to think that you all have 100% faith in Lil John being a great mayor. But if he was a great mayor, why is he allowing all this stuff that Commissioner Sellers is claiming to happen? I mean, and I mean, you might read her statement and say, hey, it's the speakers who are normalizing this behavior. But I say no, it's the mayor who allows the speakers to break the rules that is normalizing the bad behavior. And that empty chair, that's the result of a bad mayor. And you might be saying, well, if that's true, why doesn't Commissioner Sellers just bring it up, during commission items? Why doesn't she say, hey, this is how you are failing as a mayor? But I'd say because she's scared. You've all created a hostile environment. And I just wonder, maybe it's because of beef from when Lil John had no problem appointing the downtown business owner to the homeless shelter over the black woman that Commissioner Sellers wanted. So I'm just asking these questions, just wondering. And that empty chair, we need to get her back. So thank you.
Am I invited?
No, Courtney, you're not. My name is Dr. Justin Spees. At the July 18th, 2023 City Commission meeting, I attempted to speak during general public comment. I introduced myself as having started a protest in 2021 against the child mask mandate in effect at the USD 497 school district. Mayor Lisa Larson stopped me from speaking and said, quote, "What does this have to do with the city?" Close quote. I then attempted to read a research article on the negative effects of wearing COVID masks. I was again stopped by Lisa Larson, who said, quote, "You are not speaking about something that is germane to the city, and you are not talking about items that are germane to the business of the commissioners," close quote. This incident is part of the lawsuit that I have filed against the commission for violating my rights to free speech. In the city's motion to dismiss my lawsuit, the city contends that, quote, "Plaintiff provided testimony that was irrelevant, disruptive, and hindered the commission's authority to conduct an effective and orderly meeting. When the commission enforced the policy, it was not discriminating against plaintiffs' viewpoints. Rather, the commission was enforcing a reasonable restriction on speech to orderly and efficiently conduct the public meetings," close quote. If merely mentioning USD 497 is not germane to city business and disrupts the meeting, then why was Speaker Alchemy Roenick allowed to say at the January 17th, 2022 meeting, quote, "This year, USD 497 is expected to make $9 million worth of cuts to the community's children's education, including closing several schools," close quote. How is that relevant to your business? Why was USD 497 school board member Carol Cadu Blackwood allowed to introduce herself as a USD 497 school board member at the September 12th, 2023 meeting? Her introduction mentions USD 497 like my introduction did. Why am I allowed at the March 7th, 2023 meeting to introduce myself with the exact same mass protest language I did that got me stopped later at July 18th meeting, and I'm allowed to read an article on COVID masks not being effective? Why was I not stopped that time? Why was I allowed at the April 4th, 2023 meeting to do my same mass protest introduction plus mention the vaccine clinic protests I attended? I was even allowed to read an article on COVID vaccines. And again, at the December 19th, 2023 meeting, I'm allowed to say that I started a USD 497 mass protest. I'm allowed to read an article on the harms of masking children. Why was I not stopped like I was in July of 2023?
Sir, is this having to do with any
At the April
germane to the city of Lawrence business?
Oh yeah, I'm suing your asses over it, so it's definitely germane. This is the lawsuit. Like I just said, Bart, can you stop my time, please? This is germane because I'm suing you. This is a lawsuit brought against the city and the mayor right there, Lisa Larson.
Sir,
Why was I not stopped like I was in July 22? What is it, Bart?
I'm cautioning you. I'm
Can you
continuing
stop?
wanting to run an orderly and efficient meeting.
What am I doing wrong, Bart?
I'm just
Tell me how this isn't germane.
please don't be disruptive.
Tell me how am I being disruptive, Bart? How am I being disruptive? Can you stop my time? I'm having to defend myself for 20 seconds now. Tell me how I'm not being germane and how I'm being disruptive, Bart. Please tell me. How does this lawsuit not impact?
Sir?
Now I'm not allowed to even say what I wanted to say. I had a whole thing written out here. Now I got to stop and defend myself. My time is still going, and I have done nothing wrong to deserve that. I'm mentioning a lawsuit and the inconsistencies that are happening in your meetings under your watch and under Lisa Larson's watch as mayor, and all you guys, as far as I'm concerned. And now no.
Sir,
My general public comment was
that's your
not
time.
to come up here and defend the germaneness of this. I was stopped with 45 seconds remaining. I was stopped with
Sir,
45 seconds.
That's the.
Be rational, Bart. Be rational. Give me my
No,
45.
no.
You're not going to be rational? Give me my 45, man. Be fair, Bart.
Sir,
Be
I'm
fair.
going to have to ask you to leave.
You stop me, Bart.
Yes, because of the germaneness of what you were
Okay,
saying.
then explain to me how it wasn't germane, Bart. How was my lawsuit?
Sir,
against
at
you
this
guys-
point, you're being a disruption. So I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
I'm not gonna leave, Bart, so go fuck yourself. You can ask me all day. I'm sitting down and I'm just gonna attend the rest of the meeting.
Recess again?
Is that your call?
What? It's. Or should we
Just go.
Sure. What's that?
Let's go forward.
Just go forward?
Yeah, okay.
Let's go for it.
All right.
Who's next? Who's next?
We're not going to exit him at this point.
Why not?
So we are almost at the end of the meeting. Yep. Let's continue on.
Hi, my name is Rowan Shuring. I'm a Lawrence resident, and I've just come back to ask again that you stop the sweep on the Amtrak homeless camp because camp sweeps like that aren't evidence-based, and they're not going to help the people in the camp or our community as a whole. And I still think that we have other resources that we could provide that would be better than removing people from that area and threatening them with displacement. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk about this. Thank you.
I don't know if there's any way you can turn this thing up when people are talking. Sometimes you can't hear at all, which I couldn't on that one. So, yeah, Bart, I don't know what all that was. I mean, someone speaking about something that is germane to what you guys do he should have been able to finish his time. So a lawsuit, if someone's suing you, is not germane. It takes money away from all of us. So, but anyway, back to equity and inclusion. I didn't quite get to finish what I was thinking. I know how is it inclusive for you guys to pay tenant for homeowners on 2 pieces of property, first time home subsidies for 2 addresses, 1722 Harper Street and 1720 Harper Street, one for basically $75,000 to one individual through tenants for homeowners and $73,663 to another person through tenants for homeowners. I don't know if you want to look that up. It's 5/7/2024 on claims. And I know we had discussed some of the street projects that we had. I think they said the average of 11 million. Don't quote me exactly what we usually spend every year. And just a quick review of what I've seen last night. Up to year to date, we've already spent $19 million on roads. I don't know. Yeah, to various people, King's Construction and so forth. So, yeah. And then again, with Michael getting thrown out, I want to mention that he didn't even know his time wasn't started yet, because obviously, and then the police officer said, well, hold on a minute, and I will get with the mayor and see what he says. And then, so he waited, came back out, and then the officer said, you're basically going to be arrested. So I don't really get what that was all about either. But I don't know. Yeah, appreciate your time.
Any on Zoom, Sherry?
Julie Jones.
Hey, thank you again for letting me chat here. Again, I'll go back to retired teacher behaviorist dealing with off-task children. And again, I'm telling you, a teacher that does that every day could help you with those type of people just by hearing them out. But my thing is, I want to talk about the homeless program in reference to, I have started attending the board meetings, and they don't allow public comment or public anything. But I wanted to ask about, I have been going around talking to the homeless, and they are scared, the SH word, to be seen talking to the public, because they said, if Mr. Chisholm sees us talking to you, we get kicked out of the Lawrence Community Shelter. And then they had the bed bugs. I haven't been back to find out if that's been resolved. But there are things going on inside that shelter, and the board doesn't want to hear about it. If you'd have been at the last board meeting and listened to a gentleman in the back who just joined the board, and I think someone said he owns a brewery or something here in town. I don't know, I don't drink, but he was making outlandish comments, and I think I may have mentioned this last time, about you would be able to count how many people were in a house by how many flushes happened out of the toilet. And I was like, that has nothing to do with homeless people. They don't have any place to go. They don't want to go to the shelter because they land there, they have to scoop everything up. People are telling them to get the F out in the mornings, flipping on the lights, yelling at them. It's not a welcoming place, but yet we're a place for everyone. So I don't completely understand why that place is not looked at beyond the board and looked at the people. The homeless people are real people, and we just blow them off like they're nothing. We don't hear them. They're afraid to speak up. And yet we give that section in our budget millions of dollars. What is it going for? Thank you.
Courtney Shipley. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I appreciate all of your time. I wanted to bring back the comments that I was speaking of earlier on the real estate deal you were doing, just to remind you that the city owns all of the land on the river. That is City Hall, what I call City Mall, what is, there was comments on the lease agreement. You have right of first refusal because you own that land, and the hotel as well. I just wanted to make sure that you all recall that that belongs to the taxpayer, to speak nothing of the dam, and how the dam also belongs to the taxpayer, the land, and its upkeep. I again appreciate your time. I appreciate the
Courtney, I'm sorry. That was referred to an earlier item, so you would not be able to talk on that.
No, I can, because you've allowed it to happen many, many times, Mayor, and I appreciate you trying to control a situation you have failed to control many, many times. But
Okay.
thank you for your time. I just want to remind you of that, and good evening.
House number arrested now. Have her removed.
There's one more comment, Mayor. I'm just
Yep.
thinking of two.
All right.
And Stephen Watts.
Wow. How did the town website get into such a sorry state of disrepair? Is it not a metaphor for the way the town works? We got it right here, but over here and over here, it doesn't work. Okay. Where is the financial accountability for the police department? It's bypassing the required reporting, and you guys are letting it happen. Let's talk about data-driven stuff and going back to the Department of Justice dog and pony show, where I guess now it was Mr. Muhammad in conjunction with the NAACP and the Department of Justice and the police department that stopped a discussion of the town use of force policy. There we go with data. If we have concocted a town policy which does not track as a use of force beatings by police of people below the head. It goes into a secondary kind of report called an incident report, which really doesn't get reviewed by anybody of substance. The guy that authorized beating people looks at it and goes, well, you didn't hurt him too, moves it over. It's called skewed data. Why don't they want beatings tracked? Because it skews the data. It makes it accurate. As it is now, there are very few use of force report beatings that go on to the report because they didn't reach the threshold of use of force per the definition in the policy manual. So there are very few instances. It's artificially kept low. That's why data-driven stuff has to be analyzed. You just can't throw the word out there. Why are you guys letting all of what?
Can you pause this time? Sir, can you stop? You're being disruptive to Mr. Watts.
Me? Oh.
Yep. Sir, I'm going to ask you again before I ask you to leave. Could you please cease? Thank you. Continue, Mr. Watts.
Thank you. I didn't hear him. It kind of disrupts his train of thought, but that's all right. It's just more of the same. There was no annual police report for 2023. 2024 is just about done. Where is the annual police report for 2023? Prior years weren't done either. And Mr. Briggs just smugly looked at everybody and said, well, we just didn't do it. Why are you allowing this to happen? You are. I've asked each of you through emails to get involved. You're not. Or if you are, it's behind the scenes and I don't know anything about it, which means nobody else does. Don't you care? Is it so manini? That's Hawaiian for rinky dink. That you just don't care, man. I mean, it's just incredible. It goes on and on and on. These people don't show up for work. They don't return phone calls, and you want a bigger office space for them. Oops, sorry, that was in another one. But hey, there's a lot to talk about, Bart. When are we going to be able to do it and not have these 3-minute interludes? Thanks. That's it.
That's all the comments, Mayor.
Hey. That I would entertain a
Move to adjourn.
Second motion.
For a first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Good night, everybody.